time is now 9 a.m. The date is November the 7th, 2023. We want to call to order the meeting for the Marion City Council of Statesboro, Georgia. We will have our invocation and pledge of allegiance by Councilmember Phil Gordon.
We could all bow our heads. Dear Lord, about the only thing that never changes in life is change. But we change, our families change, our cities change, our environments change. But the only thing we can do really is figure out how to adapt to that change and adapt to that change with a vision of the future and a vision for caring for the other people surrounding your life. Be with us today as we make those decisions that affect the citizens here in Statesboro, Bullitt County, and the surrounding areas. Be with us as we make wise decisions, sound decisions, and decisions, again, that care for others. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Leon, are there any public comments?
No, ma'am.
All right, we'll move down to agenda item 4, which is consideration of a motion to approve the consent agenda. The consent agenda includes the approval of minutes for our October the 17th work session, council minutes, and executive session. 4B is consideration of a motion to approve the surplus of 51 Central Police Department owned firearms and related equipment. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll move down to agenda item 4, which is a public hearing regarding the proposed name change of Brown Street to Loretta's Way. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, Kathy Field, if you'll give us an overview.
Yes, sir. We have met all the requirements for the notification to the residents on the street, and so they have been duly notified. And my understanding is that there are 2 required public hearings that will be required. So,
Okay.
thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, is there anyone here to speak for this request? Is there anyone here to speak against this request? All right, is there a motion to close the hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, any council discussion?
I was just curious who brought up the proposed name change.
The family of Loretta Williams asked for it to be brought forward. All right, any further discussion by council? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to move forward for a second hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. We'll move down to agenda item 6, which is a public hearing, first reading of ordinance 2023-17, an ordinance amending chapter 6, section 6-5, F and R of the Statesboro Code of Ordinance to allow for consideration of application prior to having a certificate of occupancy and waiving background requirements for certain applicants. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, Kane, if you would.
Yeah, Mayor and Council, these are the revisions that we looked at the October 17th work session. 6.5F, what we would do here is that the revision here would allow the application for the alcohol license to be brought before y'all prior to them obtaining a certificate of occupancy. But no license actually allowing sales would be granted until such time as that certificate of occupancy is obtained at that location. The other revision is for a particular subset of licensees, and those would be licensees with multiple locations with packaged beer and wine licenses. Those that have 2 or more locations in the city of Statesboro for those packaged beer and wine licenses shall be exempted from the fingerprinting and background check requirements contained in section 6.5B if the applicant licensee has met these requirements within the 3 years immediately prior to submission of subject application. Councilwoman Mack had asked for that revision at work session, and hopefully that wording is appropriate and agreeable. But so basically what this would do is it would allow y'all to consider the license, the application prior to them getting a certificate of occupancy. And also, if it's a place with multiple outlets, particularly convenience stores, if they've been through the background check within the past 3 years, they wouldn't have to do it to get an additional packaged beer and wine license. This would not apply to liquor stores. This would not apply to on-premises consumption. It would only be for packaged beer wines, multiple ones like Parker's, Walmart, and Market, those types.
With the same applicant.
Right, with the exact same applicant. If they've been through those background and fingerprinting requirements found earlier in section 6.5, if they've gotten through those satisfactorily within 3 years, we're not going to make them do it again this time. But once that 3 years is gone, if they have more locations, then they would have to go through those
Or they
background.
change their management.
Not necessarily the management, but if the.
Well, what I meant was, let's say you change your manager in the middle of a license, at the end of that license, you'd have to renew your manager, you'd have to get fingerprinted, all that kind of
I
stuff.
don't believe so with the manager, is that right?
So if they have a change of manager, they have to fill out an application for it and go through the process of having a background check done. And the manager can change mid-year.
So the manager would still go through the background check, that's right.
This year. And the point that Kay makes about approval prior to CO being, it really is more of an efficiency matter. We did have a situation where we had a site that was completed, but we had to wait until we had a council meeting, so there were like 2 to 3 weeks that they could have actually been operational. And in this case, as long as they've met everything, it's all contingent upon them completing everything. So it's really more of an efficiency matter and them not putting pressure on staff. Why do I have to wait? And then they start wanting to have a special call meeting in order for them to be able to operate.
Any further discussion about that?
Just to make sure this, they still won't be able to serve alcohol until we've given them a license. But a CO probably,
You would essentially be approving, but it's all contingent upon everything being done.
gotcha. So it's not, again,
If I'm not mistaken, they'll get their CO, and then you'll actually hand them the physical
Right.
license. And the distributors will not give you alcohol if you do not have a
Right.
physical license.
And
He
just,
said it better than I said it.
and just as a,
I meant to buy from them before, they don't mess around. You pay cash, and you have to have that license, yeah. And you have to have the physical license, no check, no nothing, they don't want to see it.
and then just as a moment of transparency and order, the council's just exercised a point of privilege in regards to doing the discussion by council, so that we can get good correction from council. Just one more. With that being said, is there anyone here that want to speak for this request? All right, is there anyone who want to speak against the request? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to close the hearing?
so moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, as a point of order, our council still do retain the right for additional council discussion, and we'll open that up now as well.
Good, thank you.
Okay. That's good. Those are great questions, those are great questions, so we want to get those out, so. All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to move forward for a second reading?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, good deal. We'll move down to agenda item 7, which is a public hearing and first reading of ordinance 2023-18, an ordinance amending chapter 82, article 4 of the States Code of Ordinances, creating a sewer lateral assistance program. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? All right, Mr. Penny, if you would give us some insight on this.
Mayor, members of the council, if you remember, I think we talked about this at the city council retreat, where we have sewer laterals that go into the public right of way. And what we're seeing is that, especially in some of the older sections of town, in order to repair some sewer laterals, it is quite expensive because they have to end up either cutting city street, cutting sidewalks. And in one case, we know of situation where property owner actually had to take out a home equity loan in order to be able to make a repair that was very much needed. And so what we did is we did some research and looking at how other communities handle these situations and recognizing the sewer lateral is a responsibility of the property owner. However, so what we're recommending is to create a program to provide some assistance to property owners in order to be able to get the repair made. And basically, what this program will allow for is that inside the right of way, they can apply for that assistance. There are a number of things they need to do, like get the plumber, get the line TV, so we see where the issue is. They have to get quotes and the lowest bid would be the one that would be used in order to qualify. And they have to be a homeowner. This is not for investor-owned property. This is for owner-occupied properties that we would provide assistance to make these repairs in the right of way. We do recommend it to you, and this is the first reading. The only thing I think the amount of that would go into the fees and charges schedule. It's about $50 per room.
Per square foot, $50 per linear foot of depth, in excess of 6 feet.
Thank you, Mr. Penny. Is there anyone here to speak for this request? Is there anyone here to speak against this request? Seeing that there is none, is there a motion to close here?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, let's open it up for council discussion.
How many tickets have we given out in the last 12 months?
How many of these situations that we run across?
Or how many have we found someone?
No,
Oh,
Sewer lateral.
I have moved in.
Sewer lateral.
Apologize.
I appreciate staff working out
Okay.
something. Yeah, this is a problem that has been really significant for some of our homeowners, so thank you, staff, for coming up with some way to assist, because we want it to be healthy and working and functional, and it's too much for an individual.
It can be quite expensive.
what is the policy for fixing the road afterwards? Does the city take care of that, or is it just the?
It's currently all on the homeowner. And so in some cases, you have the sewer main is on one side of the road and their lateral will come all the way across the roadway.
Sure.
So they have to hire a contractor, utility contractor sometimes has to hire a paving contractor to do the work.
Well, okay,
That's
so
where this comes in.
that's my point right there. We have paving contractors that are not our normal city contractors, and they're not doing repair work that's up to the standard of our roads.
We inspect.
Is there any possibility? Well, I just know I've seen these cut-ins all over town, and they haven't compacted the dirt, and so then it becomes, it literally becomes a pothole, horizontal pothole. So, is there any possibility that our city crews could manage that, or something with some kind of a payment by the contract? You see what I mean? Because I've just seen, I've seen brand new streets and they get cut in for a sewer lateral, and then 2 years later, the dang asphalt was sinking. And it's like, wow, now you've just messed up this, $250,000 road.
Yeah, we'll just have to be more diligent in making sure, and this will help us to create some more checks and balances in the system, more interaction with city staff and the homeowner and the contractor, and just be more diligent in making sure that we're inspecting the work that's being performed.
Yeah, those repairs need to be made to our standards, make sure they get adequate compaction, so we don't have exactly what you're talking about. It's an age-old problem, even, just those little potholes. Even when we repair potholes, we have to make sure that we're making sure that we get right compaction, so that we don't have to keep making that repair. But it's a valid point that we just need to make sure we follow through on.
Yeah, we got old pipes. People have to fix their pipes, and I get that. And we certainly, as a city, have a responsibility since we told them what pipes to use. That being said, we also got to maintain these roads, and you guys know roads are
expensive to me.
Chapter 66, solid waste. Article 5, collection practices of the Statesboro Code of Ordinances in order to amend the text in section 66-99C1. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, Mr. Pena, can you give us a,
Mayor, members of the council, if you remember, we had a citizen that came to council meeting in reference to rollout cards. And rollout cards are to be placed at City Street by 7 o'clock in the morning. And as soon as rollout card, as soon as it is serviced by the end of the business day, rollout card should be returned to the side yard. What some citizens choose to do is just to leave their rollout cards at the street. That's not the appropriate place. It can be unsightly. And so right now what we have in our ordinance is we can fine citizens $10 for leaving rollout cards. We had a citizen that came and asked for you to consider increasing the fine so that it would make it a lot more, it would get someone's attention if they're cited for leaving a rollout card at the street. And so what this ordinance would do is, if you move forward, would allow for us to have a graduated increase. First offense would be $50, second offense would be $75, and third offense would be $100. And if people have to go through that, maybe they'll get the message that rollout cards should be taken back to their home and not left at the street for storage. And so we do recommend for your consideration.
thank you, Mr. Pena. Is there anyone to speak for this request? Is there anyone here to speak against this request? Seeing that there is none, is a motion to close the hearing? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, let's open it up for council discussion.
Can I answer Mr. Briggs' question?
Yeah.
And he was asking a question about how many tickets have we issued, and I don't know. I don't know that we've issued any tickets. We'll do some research, but at this point, at $10, I do know because on Zetterwire, there was a home, I don't know the address, where they always left the car. We didn't issue a ticket, but we did have our code compliance folks make contact with them, and they moved it away from the street. So it's not a constant problem, but we'll check and see how many we've issued. Thank you.
So what you're indicating to me is that you just say, push my trash can out, and I forget to come back and get it. If I forget that one time, I am fined $50.
Could be.
Probably, you could be, but more than likely not. I think if it was a habitual problem, my approach would be, first time, we probably just give you a warning and simply say, can you move the cart back? And more of a progressive step with our employees. But in some places, you see these rollout carts are lining the street, and it's just a normal practice. I would recommend first out, we would notify the residents to move them back. And then if they continue to do it, then we would start using the fine. And it doesn't have to be $50. $10 probably doesn't get their attention, but you can start at $25, $50, $75 to $100. Most people don't want to pay $25, but $10 is probably a little rough.
And so how are we, outside of this meeting here today, how are we communicating that to the residents?
Well, we'll just need to do some marketing, and we'll need to put some stuff on our website. We'll also use the news media, Bryce Connect, to let folks know. But
So we might need to go out on the water bill too.
yes, we will do that.
Yeah, I'm with Councilman Chambers. I'm not, $50 right out of the gate seems, especially since it's not written in the policy. So this idea that like, oh, well, we're gonna go out before, that's not in the policy. So if we're gonna do that, and that would be a suggestion, maybe we need to put in there that there needs to be a complaint filed with code enforcement, and code enforcement needs to talk to the homeowner first. Once that happens, if they continue to do it, then we start fining. Because it seems to me like one, there's not a ton of this as a problem. Two, it's typically a neighbor on neighbor kind of thing, and they're forcing the city to kind of get involved in the middle of it. So as a result, let's just make it as nice for these folks. Not everybody knows the rules. Send the code enforcement out to make contact with them. And once that happens, if they become, obstinate at that point, then they can go to the fine. But I tend to like that more human context with more gentle approach and, hey, let's work together as opposed to here's your $50 fine.
Again, as a practical approach, it doesn't have to be a complaint. It can be something that we've observed, and part of the responsibility for like supervisors and solid waste is if they're seeing this, they ought to be identifying the location, getting with code compliance, just letting them know. But I agree, it shouldn't just be the hammer the first time. We need to let folks know that this rule is there to make the contact. I'm more than willing and don't have a problem with recommending that we set the initial fee at $25. And whether you want to have progressive, it doesn't really matter. It just needs to be a little bit more than the $10. But the approach, it can be complaint driven or it can be staff driven. Just as the situation I identified to Councilmember Riggs, it wasn't a complaint. I saw it. And I just simply asked staff to go ahead and notify them, and it helped correct the situation. But I hear you.
Yeah, I just want to make it more of a handling a citizen complaint than the city going out and managing trash cans.
And that's how we've been handling that.
Yeah, it's good customer service. We get you.
Well, and my only point is that's not written in here.
Right.
And so I don't know how we direct Kane, but I'd like to see some of that language. I'd like to see complaint driven or safety driven, right? So if you're in a little cul-de-sac and two people are leaving the trash can out, nobody's complaining, who cares, and it's not a safety issue. Where are we going to go?
Well, it could be a safety issue.
If it's a safety issue, that's another issue.
Yeah, it could be a safety issue.
But then I really would like to see code enforcement go out and make contact first, explain the situation, a little human contact, and say, hey, and I think 95% of them will go away.
And that's generally how we handle all code complaints now.
But it's not written. Is
Yeah,
what I'm getting.
most of them aren't written that way. It just comes from the city manager's directive through the department head down to staff.
But we're changing the policy, I'm getting at.
Well,
So I'd like to see that written.
I'm with you.
So you're saying you want the ordinance to
Reflect that, yes.
That's fine.
Because otherwise, the ordinance reflects, you write a citation for $50. No code enforcement needed, no complaint needed, nothing. If the trash can's sitting out there at 8:01, write a thing for $50. We're not necessarily going to be the people that are going to be up here in 5 or 10 years. You never know who's going to read the law. So if you don't write it in a very specific way that requires that, then
We'll be glad to do that.
Yeah.
The safety issue for poly cars, and we do live in an area that's prone to hurricanes and things of that nature. That's the importance of poly cars not being at the street, because then they become projectiles in situations like that.
I have two questions, please, Mr. Mayor. Number one, were you able to get any report from staff about the actual situation that's been complained about, that location?
So, yes, ma'am. So, in that case, we provided written warning to everyone in the area, and that we gained compliance that way. No citations were issued in that situation.
So we have gained complaints because they were still out for the
Well, sometimes you can have gain compliance the first time. That could be like a recurring thing from week to week. Sometimes, and code compliance did say, to the point that was raised, code compliance did say sometimes when they receive complaints on this, typically it's an issue between neighbors that are going back and forth, and it's a pet peeve of one neighbor versus the other. Not necessarily in recent situations, but historically, that's how we've seen some of these things. And then because we have a lot of rentals, sometimes you have residents tenants that just that's not a priority for them, and they don't think about that because.
So would it be the person who pays for the trash pickup that would get the $10 fine on their bill, or the $25 fine or whatever, if there was a history of non-compliance, if we pass this? That would be who would actually get the bill, not the property owner? Or it depends, I guess. Sometimes that's included in the rent. I'm trying to see who's gonna have to pay it.
Well, whoever
It'll be the
would
account holder.
be responsible will be whoever owns the water.
The account holder.
So it might be usually the tenant, but it could be the property owner.
And the ordinance currently says it's $10 fine, and it's, that we can adjust all of that.
Is it $10 per day or $50 per day until compliance, or is it a one-time?
I think it's just per offense.
Mayor, we can make those adjustments and bring it back for the reading. If y'all okay with that. We heard you, and let us take it, make these adjustments, and we'll bring it back.
Any further discussion with council?
No burning trash issues.
No what? No burning?
Alright. So with that being said, is there a motion to move forward with, council recommendations?
I'm sorry, I thought we were saying it's substantive enough, we gotta rewrite.
Yes, that's what I would say.
Is it, Kane?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
It's fine. Alright, so bring forward with, for first reading, with council recommendations.
It's not crazy.
Okay. Alright, with that being said, is there a motion to do so? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we move down to agenda item 9, which is a public hearing, consideration of a motion to approve the application for alcohol license in accordance with the City of Statesboro Alcohol Ordinance, section 613A, El Mugui 2, Mexican Restaurant, 110 Bradley Avenue, Suite E, Statesboro, Georgia. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Ms. Kathy?
No issue, Mayor.
All right. Chief Brown?
No issue.
All right. Samples?
No issue.
Okay. Kane?
No issues, Mayor.
All right. Is there anyone here to speak for this request? All right. Is there anyone here to speak against this request? All right. Seeing that there is none, is there a motion to close the hearing? So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
At this time, we'd like to open it up for council discussion.
I was hoping there'd be somebody here to speak for, because I wanna know how to say it. Is it-
Yay.
Mockway. Mockway.
My way.
Mockway.
There's one in Brooklyn.
That's what the mayor said. Yeah. We need to go over and discuss this on some of their food. See that? Yeah.
Is there a restaurant in your town or is it?
It's in Brooklyn.
It's in Brooklyn. Oh, yeah.
This is the new one right next to Zenergy over here in McAllister's.
It's really good.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing.
You
And
went to
they're
one?
telling people,
No,
come
the
back
one-
here.
Okay.
And I have heard they're telling their customers, come back after Tuesday and then we'll make you a margarita. So they're following the rules.
Good deal, good deal.
That's right.
Yes.
All right, margaritas after council.
Say that there's no further discussion, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, let's move down to agenda item 10, which is consideration of motion to approve resolution 2023-45, a resolution adopting the second amendment to the City of Statesboro schedule of fees, rates, and fines for fiscal year 2024.
Mayor, members of the council, this is, at the last meeting, y'all approved the blight tax. And you said, and in order to be consistent, we have to put that in the fees and charges schedule. And so this action, if you approve this, this would establish the fee at 7 times tax multiplication factor of 7.0. And we do recommend it to you. There may be some other things that will come forward, but this one in particular goes back to the blight tax being added in the fees and charges schedule.
All right, thank you, Mr. Petty. All right, any discussion by council?
Curious, not directly, but do we have plans to start moving forward with identifying properties?
We will report back to you. We had,
Okay,
at this point, that
I'm not saying, I'm not asking you if you have, I'm just wondering if that process is, when is that going to
it
start?
did come up in my mind the other day whenever I was thinking about council items. And when
Anticipating questions is always a good plan.
Take these actions, then we have to identify them. But we'll report back to you on that.
But, you know, it's all good. Okay. The only comment I have, still wish it was 10, but
We ride with 7.
yes, sir.
All right. With that being said, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, let's move down to agenda item 11, which is a consideration of a motion to approve an amendment to the MOU with Action Pack Incorporated to administer the disbursement of utility assistance aid. Mr. Payne.
Mayor, members of the council, we came to you a couple of meetings ago in reference to the memorandum of understanding with Action Pack. Back during COVID, we received some CARES Act funds, and we utilized $62,000. I think we started out at $75,000, and then we reduced it down to $62,000 because we used some of those funds to fund some food drops for Feed the Broke. And so, to this point, the current MOU, everything is related to COVID. And so what this will do is you asked me at the last meeting, the last time I mentioned this, what was the balance? We have $50,929 that's available. That could be used to assist people with water bills, electric bills, gas bills. And so
Not
rent.
Not
Not rent. So we do recommend amending the MOU so Action Pack would have these funds available. And this until they're expended. Once they're expended, they'll be gone, but it could carry a while. What the other thing that we recommended, we set it at $175 back when we first started this, and we just asked council to consider going up to $250 for assistance, and that's our recommendation to you.
That's great. Thank you, Mr. Payne. Any further discussion by council?
So, yes, Mr. Mayor, my understanding is the other thing that we've done is remove the COVID condition. When it was first set up, it was to help people who were lost employment and income because of COVID. And so now it's just if you're having a hard time, you can apply and be eligible based on Action Pack's rules. Good. I think it's a wonderful thing.
And they had that before COVID, right?
They had some assistance.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So we're kind of going back to the pre-COVID assistance. Is that
Yeah.
what we're doing?
But the difference, I think, what we've seen is we have not had a lot of folks that provide assistance for water and sewer bills.
Right.
Most of them are for electric bills. And so this will help folks that might have problems paying water and sewer bills.
Yeah, if I read correctly, this one is our bills that have us, but we also could go to electric if needed, but ours first. This is priority for
And
city.
this is city residents.
If I'm not mistaken, though, there's state and federal funds for electricity, but there aren't for water and sewer. Is that
Right.
the idea?
Is this income driven?
Yes.
Yeah, they have to go to Action Pack bill.
I mean, I understand it being income driven, but I think people look over like individuals who are taking on large responsibilities. They make a lot, but at the same time, they're spending out a lot, and it puts them in a crunch as well. And we just overlook them. So I'm tired of just overlooking them too. They need help as well. So I'm trying to figure out, why is it just income driven?
I don't know this particular process, but a lot of their programs, it does look at income and assets, but it also looks at the number of dependents. So like if grandma took in 5 grandchildren, then she might be eligible even if she worked by herself. So, I mean, we could ask, we could follow up and see, be sure they have some provision for that, but they have in the past.
But my only discrepancy is that we're paying out the $50,000. This is not coming from Action Back. So should we have a little say into the regulations if we're giving you $50 to help the community out? That's my opinion.
Well, what metric would you use if you don't use income?
Need.
How do you prove need? Somebody has to make a determination. So I'm sitting here, I'm looking at your application, it just says, I need money.
So if I come in and I show you my bank statements, it is $0 in the bank.
Yeah, but some people are struggling and some people bought too many shoes. You don't get that? I mean, one is people we help, and one is people that need to be more responsible. What I'm getting at is how do you, I'm sitting here, I'm work for Action Pack. I'm gonna give the city money now. What do I use to make a determination other than I need money? You gotta have something.
Well, what do you suggest? That's why we're here.
Income. I don't know how else to do it.
I do understand, Councilwoman Shaver's point, because sometimes as a working parent and a single parent, or a single mom, or single dad, it's still hard, and they do go by their income. If you have a job and you make over that income level, there's no assistance for you, and moms and dads still struggle.
So could I suggest that if y'all would just approve this, and we can explore a little bit more with
That's all I'm saying.
at Action Pack to see what, if anything, they can do, or what they would recommend to us. And we'll come back to you, we can report back to you, but today, we have these funds sitting there, and they've been sitting there for quite some time, and this way, they can at least be using them to assist some people, but we can follow up with the other question.
And if I can add too, we have an elderly low-income utility credit discount that we already provide, and that's based on 125% of the poverty level. Action Pact administers that program for us as well. So the majority of these programs that Action Pact administers through federal funds, state funds, et cetera, local funds, are typically, and it's your discretion, but they're typically based on poverty levels that are established by the government, federal and state government. And that's how they make their determination based on need. But it's your discretion. I just wanted to make sure
explore
clarify that.
Well, my thing is, nothing against Action Pack. I think they're doing a wonderful job helping out the people in the community, and I just want to echo that out. But I am concerned about others as well. That's my point. If we figure out a way to include them, great. If we still have to go with, what we already have established, that's fine as well, but I'm concerned about everyone.
All right, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We move down to agenda item 12, which is a consideration of a motion to award a one-year contract extension to Assured Partners for insurance brokerage services and policy coverage with travelers, general liability, Bitcoin, workers' compensation, VFIS, fire equipment and buildings, BCS, cyber insurance, global drone insurance for 2024, with the term beginning January 1st, 2024, and ending December 31st, 2024.
Mayor and members of the council, obviously, we have to have all these different types of insurance, and normally we would go through a bid process. One of the reasons that we wanted to extend this is because, one, our clinic has been under new management for just about a year, and we wanted to have a little bit more experience before we actually, with Everside, before we actually bid that out. And so we'd like to do it all the insurances at one time. And so really at this point, if you don't extend it, we're going to be in a crunch between now and December 31st to have any other insurance. And so what Darren and them have been able to do is negotiate with our current carriers to ensure that we have coverage for another 12 months. And so that's what we're recommending, and that's the action that is before you. We do recommend approval.
And then we'll do a bid next year for
Yes.
3 to 5 years, or just 3?
What have we done, 3 to 5?
Yeah, 3 and 5. Okay.
And that's for brokerage and the active carriers at the same time.
We do recommend approval.
Thank you. Any further discussion by council? Seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we move on to agenda item 13, which is consideration of a motion to award a one-year contract extension to NFP for health broker services and policy coverage with Anthem for 2024, with the term beginning January 1st, 2024, and ending December 31st, 2024.
Mayor, the explanation is all part of what I just explained to you. NFP is our broker for our health insurance, and again, we recommend that we do that through the end of next year.
All right, thank you. Any discussion by council?
The only thing I wanted to say was, if our staff hasn't really gotten on Everside in the online portal and gotten their 90-day prescriptions filled at their local pharmacy and things like that, the upgrade to Everside really has been a dramatic improvement in the access to care. You can do virtual. You can even shoot the provider a little email if you have something minor, and they can. So it's a pretty good system. My only question is, do we have like a computer or something in house for our employees that may not, have computers at home to be able to access, those types of things?
That's right. Yeah, we make those available for employees that need that.
Okay,
We have
good.
a lot of employees that aren't, that don't have computers directly assigned to them, but we make sure through the supervisory staff, we make sure we make those available.
And we just need to encourage staff to take advantage of those, primarily because, especially with the prescription and the 90-day thing, those are massive price savings, not only for individuals, but for the city as well.
I was just going to say, council, most of them have cell phones, so.
Oh, yeah. I still think laptop first.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we move on to agenda item 14, which is consideration of a motion to award the contract to Solid Waste Applied Technology for the purchase of a new way automatic residential side-on refuse collection body with a Peterbilt 520 CNG cab and chassis per Sourcewell contract in the amount of $449,000. Mr. Payne.
Mayor, this is part of our replacement of our solid waste trucks. And so it's on the right cycle. It is a CNG thing about it. And I don't think this is one that they have on the lot. So this could take 12 to 24 months to actually get it. So we need to place the order. So we recommend it to you. I would like to tell you that supply chain is getting better, but the process is still a long, drawn-out process.
All right, thank you, Mr. Payne. Any discussion by council?
And John wants to go out.
All right, seeing that there's none, is there a motion to approve?
So
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we move down to other business from city council. Sheriff?
Thank you, Mayor. One thing on my mind is the United Way campaign. Aren't we on track with the city employees to exceed our goals again? We got a deadline coming up on that, Lane?
We do. I guess I could come to the podium if you want me to share about it. So I'm Lane Phillips. I'm one of the campaign co-chairs of this year's campaign, and we set our goal at 30,000, and we're currently at 37,000.
Wow.
So thank you to all of our city employees who have helped us raise those funds. We've offered a lot of great incentives to help our employees who do donate. They get discounts at local businesses as well as some paid time off if they give at a certain amount. So we're really excited, but they have until November 13th to get those forms into us. So.
Next Monday. It's something I didn't realize until last year. Everybody has to re-up every year. When you make a commitment, it doesn't just keep on. You got to say yes, keep taking it out. So you have it. You need to do that. Thank you, Lane.
Our employees have been good. Thank you, Ms. Farr, for doing that. We have lots of room to grow as far as United Way. As I stress to our employees in supervisory training, last year, out of 310 employees, we had 109 to participate. So there's room to grow, and it's important to stress to folks. I'm not sure that everybody understands what United Way does, but the agencies that they support are important agencies in our communities. And sometimes we fail to realize we think we're just helping some poor person, but it could be our own family members that are receiving these services. So So it is really critical that we lift up United Way and support United Way. And as I shared with our staff, I was a contributor for United Way for 35 straight years. And I've been a contributor there since I've been with the city of Statesboro. So it's something that I believe in very strongly. And I appreciate the leadership that Lane and Brittany have done this year. And we've had some great years, and I'll just give a shout out. The ladies have really led our organization. So next year's chairperson is going to be a man.
No pressure, competition.
No pressure, but they're gonna. I mean, Darren and Kane have done it. They did good, but these ladies have really ramped it up, and we got some more room to grow. So thank you for that. Calling that out.
I wonder how United Way feels about that.
Any other business in council?
It's election day. Everybody make sure you get out and vote. It's so important
District 2.
to vote District 2. Paulette Shavers.
Are you gonna talk about the tree program, using tree fund money to, like homeowners?
Because I'm not prepared to do that.
Okay, so maybe you can hear next time. Thank you.
Any other business from council?
Well, the only thing, Mayor, as everybody can probably see, the borough has been installed
I love
there
it.
at the art park, and if we can describe the art park where it is right now, I think it would be imagine an outdoor blank museum. So you've built the white walls, you've built the lobby, you built that, but the art hasn't been put in yet. So people are like, well, where's the art? Well, those are coming because, that requires jury competitions and things like that. So Olympia is going to be working on putting something together with the Averitt Center, and hopefully Georgia Southern will come with that. So, but we're looking to probably do a ribbon cutting sometime in January once we have a few more of the pieces put together. But as the paper pointed out, I think 90% of the work, if not more than that, has been done by our own internal staff, and they've been doing it in between other jobs. So, the reason it's kind of been a slow process is that in order to keep the costs down for the taxpayers, our own staff has been doing the work. And they've done a great job. So right now it's kind of at that transitionary phase, but it's, again, imagine us creating an outdoor blank museum where then our local artists will be able to showcase their art. There's 30 trees planted out there, local holly trees that will grow to 12, 15 feet tall. Will be xeriscapes. They won't need much water once they're established. The hedges the same way. As long as the railroad doesn't spray them with Roundup, they should be in good shape. But other than that, like I said, it's a work in progress. Light should be coming soon, hopefully by Christmas time. And yeah, hopefully we'll have a much more substantial announcement in January coming. But I didn't want to say to Richard and John and the whole public works staff that's been working on that thing. They don't normally do curved sidewalks, so that art park is nothing but curved sidewalks. So they really had to stretch their abilities, and they did a really fantastic job. So that's where we're at.
That's good stuff.
Charles, I touched all the bases. I can tell you have a question.
No, you did good. But I wanted I asked Councilman Boyd if we could get a picture of the before.
Yeah.
Because I've seen some comments about why we did that, but if you look at the before and how unsightly it was.
And for the record, for those who are thinking, oh, this is on that old seafood property, this is actually in between the railroad and the seafood property. So that seafood property, that old warehouse that could be there, that can still be built. That's still private property there with that pecan. So this is railroad property that could not have been built on. We could not have been built buildings. We could not have put a park. We could not have put an amphitheater. We couldn't put a lot of different things. So it was very limited to what we could do. So we tried to be creative. But that property next door is much more attractive now, so.
It was
And
nice.
it's
I like
major
it.
entrance into
I
town.
can't wait to the first.
And yeah, I'm excited to see it, and you went viral a little bit on social media. I haven't seen your name that much on my timeline.
Yeah,
Everybody was reposting it.
between that and the plaza, I don't know
Yeah,
what's
I was
going
like,
on.
wow, it's a great job.
Well, again, I just had an idea 4, 5, 6 years ago, but it's been staffed, it's really done all the work. I appreciate it, so appreciate Alan and Richard and John and everybody else.
Alan did that? Oh.
Alan helped, yeah.
Yeah.
He cheers, he stands there pom pom.
That's good stuff. Any further discussion by council?
What do we think of this?
You can thank Brittany. From time to time, we have folks that ask for things from the city. And so we have had to borrow from HR's stash. And so I asked Brittany to put together some things that we could have when we have folks come into the community. And so we wanted y'all to have a pack and you can see, this came out of the administration, but certainly you can use, and we can add more if we need to. But we thought if we're gonna be giving this out, council ought to be one of the first ones to get one to see what's in there. And I know, Ms. Barr, you would love the water bottle.
I do, thank you. Recyclable.
Mr. Rose, I'm sorry, I did have one small thing. Leah just was able to get in touch finally with Tiffany Ziegler from Pembroke, and I'm trying to remember what was the other city, do you remember? Guyton, yeah. To start the GMA regional training down here. So you may be getting some emails here in the next month or so, just asking you like which class you'd be interested in. The idea again is to have a class and then invite all the regional people here to Statesboro to talk about most likely zoning or economic development. So just that process has been started through GMA. Tiffany is kind of leading the way on that. So Statesboro is going to be another. Yeah.
Any further?
The city, we want to advertise the city hearing next Tuesday at 5, about out toward me. Timber Road property. Is it something there about that?
We have notified the residents of Timber Road to come to a meeting so we can talk about that project. And this goes back to the last council meeting. We want to talk through with them about the development that's proposed and some sewer extension and things of that nature. But that'll be on the 14th, I think, at 5:30. But we have notified all the residents in that community.
The planning zoning.
No, it's just a neighborhood meeting. We're just gonna do it here.
Okay.
Any further? Oh, no, I'm good. If there's no further city council business, we'll move down to city manager comment.
Yeah, the only thing I just want to mention to mayor and council today is, this year has flown by. We are at the end of the year, so next week we typically have luncheon for our employees, and so on the 14th we are having our employee appreciation luncheon at Uncle Shug's, starting at 11 in the morning until 2 in the afternoon. Mayor and council, that is also the time that finance will be in place to distribute the annual employee bonuses that y'all approved. And so employees, last year we had a good turnout for our lunch because everybody got their bonuses as well and come in. So we want to make sure that y'all are aware, and if you can, to be there to eat with our employees on the 14th.
That's, what day is that, Thursday?
Tuesday.
Tuesday, it's coming Tuesday.
That whole shows. That's all I have.
Thank you. And we'll move down to public comments. Are there any public comments? All right, seeing that there is none, we need a consideration of a motion to enter into executive session to discuss real estate, in accordance with OCGA 50-14-3B. Is there a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.